Ladies and gentlemen, Bobi Wine has a message for Kenyans. Let me just get the message. This is the message he has for Kenyans. Dear Kenyans, be vigilant. Save your country from Musevenism. This may come off as a lone MP making ridiculous suggestions, but this is how it starts. Exactly how Museveni began schemes to remove term and age limit. Defend your constitution before it's too weak to defend you. That message by Bobi Wine is a very strong message coming from a strong opposition leader from Uganda. And I was also going through Twitter, and I realized that Mwaka Lutukomoi, who is one of the opposition leaders in Uganda, also made a statement. Now, this is what he's saying. The hind legs of the bull follows the front. Low. I love Kenya. Great students. No term limits. And then, like we are warning up to have the son of our political commando, General M7, General MK, and we will have son of Dr. Ruto as president, because time will come when Kenyans will worship them. So basically, the message coming to Kenyans from Uganda is very clear, that William Ruto is actually following the footsteps of Yoweri Museveni. In this video, I want to try specifically to focus on the statement by Bobi Wine, which in my view is significant. This is what Bobi Wine is saying: be vigilant. He's basically warning Kenyans to be on the watch out. And he's telling them, save your country from Musevenism. So basically, William Ruto is associated to some extent with Museveni. And in Uganda, Museveni has entrenched himself such that there is nothing you can do. And then he's also telling you that this is how it starts. You might assume that the statement actually came from a lone MP. And of course, the member of parliament could not just speak. He wanted to test the waters, and the waters are dirty for them. And Bobi Wine is reminding you that exactly how Museveni began schemes to remove term limit and age limit. Remember, in Uganda, Museveni first of all began by removing term limit, because Uganda had actually capped the term limit and age limit. I think by that time, Museveni did not know that he was going to grow older and that the 10 years or 20 years was short. So they removed the term limit. Before they knew, they removed the age limit. So Museveni might actually die on power. And this is what Bobi Wine is reminding you. And it's also telling you, defend your constitution before it's too weak. Because if you don't defend it, it's going to be too weak to defend you. And this is exactly what was coming to my mind. Because I was going through comments, and specifically that particular opinion poll which was posted by Mutai Ngunyi. In that opinion poll, huge percentage of Kenyans were like, they don't care. If he wants, let him change. If he doesn't want, they don't care. Only 50%, 50.3% said no. And of course, those can be easily persuaded when the real campaigns begin. But what do you really understand by Bobi Wine's statement? What was his objectives? Because in politics, nothing happens out of mere coincidence. Before we get into all those, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, I want you to take a second or two, click that subscribe button, so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Now, let us get back to the main issue. Why is Bobi Wine delivering this kind of message to Kenyans? Number one, there is the Ruto-Museveni link. You know, it is alleged that Museveni is nursing this ambition of becoming the president of the entire East Africa. His only opponent always remained Raila Odinga. So Museveni is believed to have actually locked out Raila Odinga from becoming the president of the Republic of Kenya in 2013. And majority of Raila Odinga's supporters are still very bitter with him. In 2022, Museveni supported William Ruto, although he was not sure because Uhuru was supporting Raila Odinga. So at some point, he decided to support William Ruto from the background. So which means there's a strong link between Ruto and Museveni. If you go to Uganda, William Ruto even launched some institute at Makerere University. I don't know how it ended, but that was part of Museveni's schemes. William Ruto campaigned for Museveni in Uganda at some point and immediately became the president. Museveni was one of the first people he visited. So I tend to think that Bobi Wine is reminding Kenyans that be on the lookout because there's a link between William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta. And just like they always say, birds of a feather flock together. And William Ruto has stated it severally that his role model is Museveni. Now, if Museveni is your role model, what character would you admire from him? So that's number. Number two, Bobi Wine is also reminding you as a Kenyan that Kenya as a country actually shapes Ugandan politics. Uganda has already slipped into dictatorship, and that in case Kenya will also slip into dictatorship, then we are going to have trouble in East Africa. So for me, I tend to think that as much as Bobi Wine is advising Kenyans, he's also reminding Kenyans of the role the country is playing in Ugandan politics. If you study the history of Uganda, there is no way you can remove Kenya out of it. And that's why when the other day Museveni's son talked of invading Kenya with his troops in 2 weeks, it became a big issue. Number three, Museveni had a role in 2022 election. And this is what Bobi Wine is telling you. Remember, on the election day, so many vehicles belonging to Uganda or from Uganda were allegedly used to transport election materials. In fact, there are areas where vehicles belonging to Uganda were actually nabbed with election materials in Kenya. Museveni played a key role. And that's why if this issue came up of extending the term limit, Bobi Wine is just reminding Kenyans that Museveni played a role for this guy. This guy became the president. And what all these things is doing, this is how Museveni started. And let me just read for you, this part is explaining so well, that exactly how Museveni began schemes to remove term and age limit. So it's warning you to save your country from Musevenism. And lastly, I also tend to think that Bobi Wine is also defining his relationship with Kenya moving forward. How is he going to relate with Kenyans, with Kenya? Remember when William Ruto was declared the president, the first thing he did was to reach out to Malema of South Africa. And Malema had to issue a statement asking Raila Odinga to accept results. I'm yet to hear from Malema since that day again, because probably he has realized that he was played. Bobi Wine is telling you that for him, between Kenya and Uganda, he's going to relate with a country called Kenya from the other side. And I remember Bobi Wine has been very close to Babu Wino. He's been very close to allies of Raila Odinga. Basically, Raila Odinga supporters have always supported Bobi Wine, while Museveni has always been supported by William Ruto and his allies. So Bobi Wine is just making it clear that for me, moving forward, this is how I'm going to relate with Kenya. I'm not going to relate with William Ruto. I don't know what you think, but that's my take. Thank you guys, and please, may you have a good day. day. Bye bye.